Hello, everyone, and good evening. This is our second, I think, Tea with Teresa after the primary, and I hope all is well. Last week, the last couple of weeks, I would say, we've been meeting with people in regards to healthcare. So last week we met with Scott Denoya in regard to his son and the tragedy that happened in his family in regard to healthcare. We are going to be moving on to something that is actually happening to a lot of people right now. Not that that's not happening to a lot of people, but that's happening in regard to education. I have fought for the last couple of weeks, even once schools had shut down, I've been fighting with the decision to let my girls go back to school or go back to in-person learning. And because all of us are high risk for this virus, I was still weighing that option. And saying, well, are they like really at risk or not? You know, because they're asthmatics. And for those of you who don't know, asthma is a permanent lung disease. There is absolutely no cure for it. You have asthma for the rest of your life. Sometimes it goes dormant. Sometimes it gets better and more manageable. And sometimes it's just completely exasperated by whatever environmental, irritants just causes it to get that way. Now, with my girls, I've managed it very well, and my oldest two as well. It wasn't easy. So that's why I was going back and forth, trying to decide whether or not they would be safe. And I decided to actually err on the side of caution and tell them that they're just not going to be in the building learning at all with their peers. And I know that that's a hard decision for them, especially since my youngest is going to be going to high school, her first year, freshman. But I feel like it's safer for them if they just did the distance learning instead of being in person. So because of that, I decided that we were going to pause on the healthcare and talk about what's going on in our district in regards to our kids going back to school. So hopefully for the next couple of Tea with Teresa's, we will be speaking not only to students, we're going to speak to my daughter, and she's going to just give her, in a moment, she's going to give her her thoughts on this and going back to school. My youngest refuses to come on, but that's okay. And then hopefully we'll be able to speak to some teachers. If you want to get on with Tea with Teresa, please let me know and we'll connect. And the next Tea with Teresa, we will definitely connect and get you as a teacher or maybe as a school board member, and we'll talk about what's really going on and try to figure out if it's really safe for our kids to go back to school. Okay, so all that blah, blah, blah. I'm going now to turn it over to my daughter just for a few minutes. I'll still be having a conversation with her, but she says she just had a few things that she wanted to speak about in regards to her going back to school in person and online. And here we go. And there is Kini and Elise. I'm just going to move this light over so that we can see you better. Is that good? Mm-hmm. All right. Go ahead. So get a little closer.
School should be closed. They should not be doing in school at all. I mean, a couple teachers have came out and said that they had to start writing a will.
They had to sign a will.
Yeah, absolutely not. That's ridiculous.
That's right. You asked me.
I asked my mom if she was going to sign one. If you know that it's that dangerous to the point where you have to make your teachers sign wills, then the school should not be open at all.
It makes it seem like they're aware of the possible dangers.
Exactly. And my question is, hold on, I was gonna put my hair in a ponytail.
You always do that every time you get on.
But now
you have to like readjust and everything.
Yes. But now I have something to say. I think that I'm trying to find a way to compare.
Why don't you start with your name?
Oh, hi, my name is Kini Annalisa McCalmon. I'm 16.
And you didn't have to say the whole name. Your first name was fine. and let everyone know.
I'm going to SCCC.
What's SCCC?
Schenectady County
Community College. Really?
I'm going to Schenectady County Community College. And tuition for online, if we're not getting the full college experience, why are you charging that much for tuition? I think that tuition, especially since some people don't have jobs, I mean, some people have to stay home and care for people and don't have any money to spend on tuition. I mean, prices should be going down a lot. And a lot of colleges have the nerve to up the prices of tuition and costs, yes. And a lot of colleges are also saying things like, oh, you can come back, like we're open, and then right after, and then you'll pay for all your housing and stuff, and then they'll be like, oh, never mind, we can't let you stay here and take your money.
And what colleges did you hear that happening?
I have to look at
okay.
The girl that said it, but that's ridiculous.
I know your cousin who was going to historically Black college and university. One of her other cousins was going to the same college, and they had gotten notification that classes had started. Remember? And they went onto campus. A whole bunch of kids went to the college campus for the first day of classes. This was a couple of weeks ago. And they got there and the college campus was closed, and they told the kids to go home. I think because they decided, and I'm not sure, but they may have decided at the last moment that it was not safe for the kids to be on campus. Here in the capital region, I know Albany has started classes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Union College, I've been seeing some signs about COVID check-in with students. So I think there are a couple of students who are on campus, but I'm not 100% sure. And I don't see a lot of students as I usually do. So there might be online classes. I'm not sure if anyone's in dorms or anything like that. But SCCC is doing all online classes.
Yes, all online.
Yeah, and I think HBCC is doing that.
Tuition should be they're also. I asked one of my friends that are going there, and they said that you can go inside the building, but for classes. Oh yeah, there's like a whole protocol that you have to do. You have to check in, sign in, and all that stuff, and take your temperature, say where you're going, and all that. So they're really strict on how you move in the building. But I just think it makes no sense how things like movie theaters, right, are closed. Yeah, like big movie theaters. They're talking about actually opening them up, and I'm not sure if it's today or sometime this week. Absolutely not. There's like doctors are saying that we should be shutting things down again, but we're going to school. Like kids are going to school. You have a choice to do all online, or go to school like every other day, I think. I think that we shouldn't be going to school at all. Schools are dirty. And no matter how many janitors you have in that school, it's not going to be germ free at all.
From the mouth of babes. What do you think about your sister going to the high school? Try not to be so harsh, but what do you think about your sister not going to the high school and their like hybrid thing? And also, I think they've decided to push school back to October.
Yeah. Okay. If you have to push, first of all, if you have to push the first day of school to October, you might as well not have school or just do it online.
Yeah, I can tell she's my child.
But okay. What was the question?
What do you think about your baby sister either going to school or being in the building or just doing the online classes? Because especially for her experience is not going to be the same as yours and your older two siblings.
Honestly, knowing how she is, I think that virtual school is good. And also because if I was overwhelmed in those hallways and just even before COVID started, I wanted to be homeschooled because it was just too much going on. Too many.
She asks me almost every week, can I get homeschooled now?
There were the germs. There was too many different people in the hallways. It was too much going on. Yes, and schools in general are not that clean. They're not. They're just like places for germs to get together, procreate more germs. It should not be open.
So what would you say to your friends who are like, Kini, you're over exaggerating, it's okay, we're not all going to be gathering, we're going to have masks on, 6 feet distance and hand sanitizers. And I think even with some of your friends' little siblings, when they're going to middle school and grade school, right? And I saw an article where these teachers made these, plexiglass little cubbies on the desk and made them into Jeeps or whatever. But even with those precautions, what do you say to your friends who are like, it'll be okay, we're going to go into the building?
I appreciate their enthusiasm. I do. But knowing my friends, especially the students at the high school, what happened? I don't like dress codes in general. There's a certain, sometimes there has to be a dress code. I don't like dress codes like the whole spaghetti strap thing, ridiculous. But what happened to the whole dress code thing at Schenectady High School? No one enforced that, which I think was good. A lot of the, what were they called? Hall sweeps.
Wait, let's go back to the dress code. What do you mean by the dress? What does the dress codes have to do with the kids?
What I'm saying is that the school had all these things enforced, and they were like, we're going to take this seriously. Yeah. It lasted 2 weeks.
So you're saying that you don't have faith that they'll be able, especially with how large?
With all the kids. No matter, the school is big in general. Even if you have kids going every other day or whatever, there's a lot of kids regardless. And there's more students than teachers and faculty.
Oh, faculty,
There's more students in general. And students always find loopholes. And children my age and younger and even older, we want to be together.
Always.
We always want to be in our little group. So 6 feet apart is not going to work. And then some students don't think that COVID is that serious. They don't see
masks.
Yeah, they don't. And so like masks, they're going to take them off sometimes, or they're not going to be as serious as washing their hands and hand sanitizer and stuff like that. So I think that, and some people, to be honest, were not raised in a certain, you know what I mean? They weren't, their parents.
Some people don't understand
hygiene. That's what I mean. I was just trying to say it a bit nicer.
So let me ask you, when do you think it will be a good time for the adults to say, all right, now it's safe, everybody can go back to school?
I think a good time,
and also teachers will be safe to go back to
is when the country as a whole gets it together. Because we got states not enforcing masks at all or social distancing. We got people even here outside not wearing masks or taking it seriously. I mean, this is whoever's opinion, but that COVID is a hoax and
we lost family members.
Yes, the country is divided, period. It's divided, period. And COVID is just giving people more of an excuse to be divided. So there's people who are like, it's a hoax. And there's people who's taking it seriously. And then it just causes all this problem and stuff. And I don't think it's even safe for children to be in schools, health-wise and, you know, in general. With all the separation going on, it's not safe. It's not even just about COVID anymore.
From your eyes, how long do you think it will be before, as you say, the country gets it together? Even like say Biden and Kamala win. Do you think that they will have an effect on getting us back on our feet? Or do you think that this COVID is still going to do what it's doing? No matter whether we got, Republicans or Democrats in the House.
In terms of who's in the House, president and whatnot, let me find a good way to say this. I mean,
just what? I don't know what you're going to say. Just say it. Say what? Go ahead, Kini. Just say it.
Can I say that? Can you edit this out if you wanted?
If I wanted to, but
that Biden is kind of like a last resort, and we gotta get him out too when he gets in. Like he's not like I just hope people don't get too comfortable is what I mean. Because we still gotta get those people out, we gotta get people who are actually for the people and are not opportunists.
For change.
Yeah, I feel like Joe Biden took this as an opportunity because not like Trump. Anyways, so he kind of took this as an opportunity because he knows a lot of people don't want Trump in office anymore. So I feel like how Trump is a very, very honest person, even if he sounds dumb.
Yes.
I feel like Biden, he's not honest. That's what I mean by opportunist. He's not honest, and he's going to say what he has to say to get in office. Because things that he said in the past that people have called him out for, it just does not match with what he's saying now. Like, he's saying what people want to hear. And when he gets into office, is he going to do what we need him to do, or is he just going to start fattening his pockets?
So with that being said, do you think that when Biden and Kamala win, that we the people would be able to hold them to those promises that they've made and make sure that they do what we want and not what they want? Because I don't see us going back to that how we were before. I don't think that's possible right now. Mm-hmm. So we have to move forward in a different direction. And I ask this also, and I want you to think about this because we're in the midst of a Black revolution as well. Mm-hmm. And the People's Revolution. And we have forced some much needed reforms and laws to be passed in order for us to actually survive, so to speak, this pandemic and also the Black Revolution. Do you think that same momentum that we have during all of this, we could use to make sure that Biden is definitely there for us?
I think we could, but I also think that I've been thinking about this for a while. I think that when Biden gets in, people are going to get comfortable because we've had 4 years of Trump. Like we just want that part of America to just die.
We won that part over in 2020.
Yeah,
we want
exactly. So I feel like people are just tired and they're just going to get too comfortable and they're going to need a reminder. And I feel like Joe Biden's going to get comfortable too because he's like, oh, well, people aren't on me about like they were on Trump about things. So, let me just sneak listen. You know what I mean?
So you're saying that we need to stay awake and we need to stay vigilant and pay attention to everything, just as much as we've been paying attention to Trump. We need to pay attention to this.
And until then, we need to not be in school at all.
I think, and I think most of you will agree that my daughter, and a lot of her friends think this way too, and I don't think it's just because she's my daughter. We don't agree on everything, I promise you. We don't, right? We sit here, we have arguments back and forth. We actually just had a disagreement about school and college, and I was like, no. She's like, but this is what I feel. But I think that a lot of her friends are similar minded. I wouldn't say 100% like minded, because I think I've heard you try to get them to think outside of their box as well. But from what I hear, especially from parents, teachers, students, their friends, little siblings, the kids are really scared and not sure. And I think that for the most part, we are not really doing a good job of guiding them into this kind of school reopening. And I don't think it's because we don't have the skills to do it. It actually may be that we've never been here before and we don't know how to do this. And unfortunately, when you're in a place of leadership and you're in a place of power, you forget how to say, I don't know what I don't know.
Can you help me?
And I do not, and a lot of you who've known me, been in meetings with me, and we've had discussions, I usually say, I don't like the BS. I need to know more about this thing before I can go and speak on it or do anything about it. And I am number one to say, I don't know what I don't know. So I need to go figure out how to do this. And I know we don't have time right now to do it, but in a way, this is like the best time to try to figure out how to come together, not only as a community and a district, but as a state and a country, and really listen to what our kids are saying to us. Listen to their thoughts. I mean, come on, they're going to be running the country when we're like dust in the ground. We need to listen to them because this is their future. This is our future.
Exactly.
And
oh my goodness, I've been saying this for so long. And
leaders and community leaders, activists, all listen to the youth. They know a lot more than we think we know when it comes to actually school and happenings, and we know this. We know we don't know everything that the kids do in the hallways.
I've been wanting to say that for the longest, because adults before have came up to me saying, oh my goodness, saying, oh, we need to go back to school. We know better. Yes. Yes. We know better, blah, blah, blah. We've had more experience.
We've been here. But none of us have been here
You've been here longer, but we inherited this broken society from you.
I'm so sorry, baby.
So
I'm trying to help fix it. I'm trying to be as part of the solution and not the problem.
Yeah, so don't you think it's time that you take a step down from that pedestal that you put yourself on?
How about just pull y'all up with us?
Or that, yeah, but some people just need to retire.
That too.
Honestly, like, you have an older mindset. Things for you, how things were for you when you were younger is not how things are going to be now, because honestly, I really don't agree with how things were then.
A lot of things, even in my generation, the world today is so far different than it was with us growing up.
I want it to continue changing, because there's still a lot of things that need to change, and older people don't like that. Well, I'm sorry, but soon enough we're going to be the one ruling the country.
Some older people I wouldn't even say some older people. Some people just are not comfortable with change.
Yeah,
but you have a lot more people that you can explain to them why change is beneficial, and then they'll be able to change their thoughts or mindset towards that change and say, okay, maybe this can be a thing. But you got to do it with grace. You got to do it with understanding, Yes, patience and lots of love. So I know it's very hard. It's hard to listen to people when they are so far removed from
I just feel
your
bad.
understanding.
Sometimes I just don't have the energy to. Another thing, let me
boy.
start feel bad. Sometimes
One
I
more
just
thing.
don't have the energy to explain to people because I just like you can just tell they don't want to hear it, and it's just gonna be a waste of your time trying to explain. So it could go in one ear and out the other.
That's another thing you can do though. You don't always have to convince everyone.
Mm-hmm.
If you're having a conversation with someone and they're allowing the back and forth, they're allowing the exchange of information, whether they agree or not, this is a person you can have a conversation with and you can share your ideas and your thoughts and they're not fighting you. Now, there are people who, before you even open your mouth, they have already figured out. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Those people, it's a tiring conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get into that discussion, you only want to be there for the argument and you're not there for anything productive. And it is okay to not want to have those discussions and walk away. But we have to find that majority of people who are okay and willing to move us forward and to change, right? Mm-hmm. And to listen to those who are not their age, who don't look like them, who don't pray like them, don't speak like them, and not their same age, doesn't have the same educational background or upbringing. We got to be able to listen to everyone, hear their voices, and then come to some kind of agreement so we all can move forward together. Mm-hmm. We have to, because we can't move forward with this division. And I say, bringing it back to the schools, if we are not going into this with our eyes wide open, and I've said this before, we are heading towards, we were disaster before this pandemic. And that's probably one of the only good things that happened with this pandemic is that it forced us all to stop and knocked us on our behinds so we could stop and see that where we were running towards full steam ahead with our eyes closed, we were going off the cliff and we were going for self-destruction. And I think that this pandemic forced us to sit down and say, okay, what do we value more, money or our lives? And I think that's how we have to look at the school opening. Do we value money over our children's lives? That's just my thoughts and my opinions. I think that we should be thinking about the safety of our educators, the safety of our children, our parents, our fathers, our spouses, our mothers, grandparents, everyone.
It's just not safe.
It's not safe at all. One more thing you have to say, because we are just about out of time.
Yes, one more thing is I do not like, this whole virtual school thing, a lot of people I know are just going to drop out.
And I think that happened with your high school, right?
Yeah, some people dropped out or they failed because, they didn't want to do it. They didn't want to do it. The thing is, you just lose motivation to do things. First of all, you're forcing us back to that school. And in this whole situation, you're going to force us back to that school. Some children don't like going to school in general. You're going to force us back during COVID.
And an even more hostile environment.
Exactly. And with this whole separation thing.
And then the kids who actually come to school for peace
won't have that.
Or
they'll
even
be
just to eat.
Stuck at home.
Yeah.
And sometimes that environment is not the best. Like, I don't think people are who's in charge of this opening?
We'll talk about that.
Yeah, because I don't think they're really thinking about
when
this.
You break
it's
it
not
down
only
to
about
it.
Money.
So when you break it down to it, though, when you break it down and you get to the nitty gritty, if we go to the school board meetings, we vote the people in that we know have our best interests at heart, register people to vote, and we go and we hold our elected officials accountable, especially superintendent, especially our school boards. We go there and we demand, even all the way up to the governor of the state. So your mayor, everyone.
We need to get it together because never mind, I'm not going to
We as a people have elected these people in our stead. They are there to be our voice. And if they're not doing the job that we hired them to do, you know what happens.
Is Mayor McCarthy in charge of this too?
No, superintendent.
Yeah, well, we don't have a new one yet, right?
No.
Well, we need
the
to get
school
a
board as
new
well.
one in.
And also as executive orders by executive order, you know,
So
with the
what is
cooperation of the
Gary?
municipalities, funding, and just like pretty much making sure everybody's supposed to be doing their job.
Okay, well, people watching, we need to get this together. Because
You have to look at the mayor as a smaller version of the governor. So the governor is the executive over the whole state. Then you have the Senate and the Assembly. When you get down to the cities, the executive of the city is the mayor. And the mayor tells everybody to do their jobs.
Oh.
And then the mayor has their council. And then the council is supposed to be in charge of different parts of the city, or they're at large. Ours is at large. So things like, so yeah.
Wow.
And I do remember explaining this to you before.
We do, but I just needed a refresher.
Okay. So, all right. So we're going to end it there. I hope my team is answering questions. If we don't get to your questions, we're not ignoring you. It's just, this is through Zoom. And like I said before, we can't always see the comments and questions. So just keep them coming, post, comment your ideas, thoughts, corrections on anything that we said or didn't say. You want to add to it. You know, I fully appreciate all of you. And I'm okay with being corrected. And everyone, good night, and stay safe, stay healthy, and
drink tea.
drink tea. She didn't have her tea today, but that's okay.